Okay, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar today. Earnings, earnings, earnings. That's what we're going to be talking about. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10 Minute Trades. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. All the trades that I'm going to discuss today are educational in their purpose. Okay, so keep that in mind. Don't trade money you cannot afford to lose when you're trading in general. At 10-minute trades, we trade futures, okay? So today we're going to talk about earnings, but I'm not talking about trading the actual stock. We invented a methodology to use the NinjaTrader platform, and we are trading futures during selected earnings events. So it's very important to remember that. A lot of folks get confused and they think that we're trading the actual stock. We watch the stock and we track the stock price, and I'll show you some earnings trades and how we do it. But ultimately, we're actually trading the futures. Most of the time, the NQ or the MNQ, which is the micro, or the YM. Those are the most common futures that move during earnings events. Okay? So that's the concept that we're teaching today. I love all the screenshots that our team members have made. There's beautiful graphics, I think. I'm not very good at creating graphics. I just think that's a gorgeous shot of Netflix. So at 10-minute trades, we have a system. We have our News Trader software. We call it JOBB News Trader software. And within that software, we have a lot of different setups that we can choose. Basically, for earnings, we're almost always choosing just one of two setups, either a breakout trade or a range trade. A breakout trade is what we used to refer to as a spike trade. And a spike trade is a very simple concept. You put your orders on the chart. Those X's are the orders. The candle in the middle of the orders is the current price. And then what happens is the news is released, whether it's earnings or a jobs report. The concept is the same. The earnings get released, and then the instrument we're trading, which, like I said, might be the NQ, the MNQ, or the YM, that instrument will burst up or down on the earnings. We'll get pulled into the market. We have a specific setup for all the earnings that we trade. We have targets, we have stops. A stop is an area where if the trade goes wrong, it gets you out of the trade. And we semi-automate our trades also. And our software manages almost all of the trade for you, probably about 80%. Let me show you a sample earnings trade, a breakout, so you understand what I mean. So one of the best trades that we trade has been NVIDIA. And one of the things you could get excited about is we have not had NVIDIA earnings yet. We are in the middle of earnings season, probably a little bit past the middle, but there are many, many good opportunities left on the table. NVIDIA is in a couple of weeks, and the way that we trade earnings, and I'm going to talk about all the tools that we use, our software automatically puts these little orders on the chart. We do a lot of research. We're studying when NVIDIA releases their earnings. We need certain things so that an earnings trade works, and I'm going to get into that also in a minute. But here is a sample earnings trade on NVIDIA. On the left, on the white chart, I'm trading the NQ. On the right, I'm watching my Thinkorswim so I could actually watch the NVIDIA stock. The news is going to come out. It's going to burst. On the left side, there's an explosion in price. The trade is now over. That was a $1,500 profitable trade, and you could see that I was in the market for about 2 seconds. That is a very popular type of earnings trade called the breakout trade. And the idea again behind the breakout, our software automatically puts the orders on the chart, the little X's. Watch, I'm going to let the whole thing run in real time. There's the X's. We're waiting for the earnings. The earnings are coming out right now. The earnings cause the NQ to burst up. It hits both my targets. It takes me out of the trade. I didn't have to do anything except on that trade, I got to just count my money. $1,500 profit. That was in our cash account. We trade in prop accounts and we trade in cash accounts in our trade room. And we teach our members how to take these trades. That's what we're here for. We want to show you and teach you how to take advantage of these types of moves in the market that happened every single earnings season. Now, full transparency. Sometimes you have lousy trades. Nobody ever shows their lousy trades. We had a lousy trade this week. And let me see if I have the video. Sometimes a trade just goes wrong. So let's look at a trade that went wrong. We were waiting for McDonald's. We knew they were coming out at 7 in the morning. McDonald's is a different type of setup. We create a range trade, all right, where we put a range on the chart using time, a time-based range. When our price breaks the range, then we get filled. In this particular case, what happened was there was a whipsaw. Now, we've been trading McDonald's for years. There's our orders. And unfortunately, what happened, the price shot down, completely reversed, took us out of the trade with a loss. And that was called a whipsaw. And sometimes a trade goes bad and you lose money. It's just trading. And you have to be a grown-up about it, and you want to then just move on to the next trade. The idea is to have setups that overall are making money. We have made money on McDonald's for more than 2 years trading their earnings. Of course, you're going to get occasional bad trades. It happens. But there's nothing more fantastic than those beautiful winning earnings trades. Our members are always sending us screens. One of our members had a recent NVIDIA trade, $475 profit. Our previous quarter that we traded NVIDIA was a winning trade. It's been one of our favorites, and it's coming up in a couple of weeks. And again, we want to teach you how to trade it. That's why I'm here. We have a system. We have a breakout and a range style trade. Wouldn't your life change if you could make more money in 10 minutes than most people make all week? During most trading weeks, we spend way less than 10 minutes in the market. Occasionally, we might spend longer these days because we've added a lot of very clever new ways of trading news and sometimes earnings. Years ago, we never traded after the news. We just had a setup. We waited for the news, we took the trade, and we were done. But now, and over the years, we've discovered, obviously, there's many opportunities after the news. Sometimes you get a good reversal. Sometimes you get a nice continuation. We added new strategies to our software that could take advantage of those types of moves. And we actually have a setup in our software called the reverse continuation. It's a discretionary entry. You can decide when to enter. But the whole idea of using good software when you trade is the software keeps you as safe as humanly possible when you're trading. We all know it's possible to have something go wrong when you trade. The market could turn against you. The market could change direction. The idea is to have tools that make your trading as risk safe as possible. That means you want to have software that gets you out of the trade if it goes bad. You want to have software that gives you your profits if it goes good, that allows you to move your targets and adjust your stops in a way that's manageable for the average person to learn and to be able to do it. And our software, I really believe, is the key to trading earnings and news the way that we trade. Our software is called JOBB News Trader, and we also have two other strategies that are part of our software, the trap trade and the magnet trade. All three of those pieces are what we call our News Trader software suite. Here are the main elements in our trading system. We have a weekly schedule that's free for anybody that wants it. You can just go to our website, 10minutetrades.com, opt in for the free video, how to find 10-minute trades, and that will sign you up for our weekly schedule. We affectionately call the weekly schedule the WMM, Weekly Market Movers. Then we have our DMMs, the Daily Market Movers. The Daily Market Movers are actually one of our subscription products. When you're a pro member, you get everything that's in the system, and we'll talk about that at the end. The Daily Market Mover is a trade action report. And what's interesting is not every single event that we trade in our trade room gets an action report. Some of the events that we trade are what we call trade room events. And that's why when someone is a pro member, they have access to everything that we do. The trade room, our software, the schedule, the daily market movers, everything. That's the goal to doing this the right way. If you have all of the tools, then you have access to all of the knowledge to trade the way that we trade. The Daily Market Mover is a trade action report. Many events that we trade in our trade room get an action report. Now, for instance, today, even though we didn't trade earnings today, today was just a day we didn't have earnings, but we had an action report on, for instance, the 30-year bond auction, which everybody made money on. It was a big mover. And we have a very unique setup. Thank you, Langford, one of our members, who gave us a heads up on creating the YM for the bond reports, along with actually trading bonds. And that brings up a very important fact of what a great community we have and how everybody loves to share and trade setups. If Langford didn't share his YM setup with us, maybe we never would have looked at the YM on a bond report. He gave us a heads up. He said, hey, I'm doing this. You've taught me how to trade with breakout software, using your software. Well, I've got this cool setup that I'm doing. Why don't you check it out? And we checked it out. We modified it a little bit, but ultimately, if it wasn't for Langford, who's been a great loyal member for years, we would not have that setup. And our community is fantastic. When you go in our trade room, everyone can talk to each other. People help each other. It is a really nice community. And it's not so big that you get lost in the shuffle. If you have questions, you can ask them, and you can feel like you're actually being attended to and that somebody cares about you. So today, we traded the 30-year bond auction, and we traded the natural gas report. We generate a daily market mover trade report the day before we get to the trade room, the day before the event. And yesterday, our members received a methodology for trading today's natural gas report. And I'll show you what happened, because it was a very nice winning trade today. We traded it in our prop account today. And let me show you exactly what happened. So we have a setup, right? The key is, do you have a setup? And we do have a setup. And the setup is on our daily market mover report that we sent to our members yesterday. This yellow line shows our members what our setup is going to be. Sometimes when you come into the trade room, the market might be very volatile. We might make changes to the setup. No setup is in stone, okay? Because markets are not in stone. They're not the same every single time you trade them. They're like an amoeba, always changing, growing, shrinking, destroying everything around them, giving love to everything around them. The market is like a living being in a sense, and you want to be flexible and be able to change as the market changes. Well, today we traded natural gas exactly like the setup. The market wasn't very volatile. We had two targets, 10 and 20 ticks, Natural gas is $10 a tick. We had a bracket that our software created, but the key that I was explaining, our daily market mover told us this is the way we're going to trade natural gas today because we've studied natural gas for years and years and years. And right now, this is the setup that's going to work the best. So in the trade room, I turned on my prop account. The natural gas report is at 10:30 every Thursday. Every now and then there's a slight difference, but 9 times out of 10, every Thursday, here comes the trade. The price exploded up, hit both my targets. Let me show you the right trade. That would be helpful. Here's the right trade. The market released the news, and in our trade room, we have tools where our members and ourselves are able to know exactly what the news is at the moment it gets released. The news was there was a shortage of gas compared to what was expected. It pushed the price up, hit my first target. I then moved my stop to safety. It was right at the high of the day for my second target. I thought it would be appropriate to shrink my second target just a little bit to the high of the day. The target got hit, and we exited that trade in 15 seconds, $270 profit, trading with our daily market mover report. Anyone that followed our report today would have had a profitable trade trading natural gas. The point is, we have a system, we have tools, we teach you to use those tools, and if you just follow the tools and follow the rules, you'll have a lot of winning trades trading earnings, news, and market moving events. We're also now trading market opens, and I have had 3 out of 4 winning trades. We made money today, even though we lost on the market open trade. Trading the MNQ, we teach our members to trade with low risk using micros, and we traded the MNQ with micros this morning. Our stop got hit, but there was some great opportunity to get back in after our trade ended. And that's our software helping us do that, reverse continuations. Members are able to get right back in if a trade doesn't work, if it's appropriate, and that's the key. A lot of our members have been trading the open. They've been bugging me to death to start trading opens, and we started doing that last week. This week, seriously, and on a regular schedule. So, and I love trading the open. Just it tends to be inconsistent. So sometimes you can go through periods where it's challenging. And that's one of the things that hurts traders is the inability to get through a challenging period. So one of the most important things we also try to teach above and beyond just learning how to use software, learning how to set up your charts, you have to master the hardest part of trading, the psychology of trading. You have to forgive yourself if you have a loser. You have to forgive yourself if you make a mistake and be able to just go on to the next trade. Because think about the way that we trade in particular. Let me show you an average schedule. So this was our weekly schedule for this week. We were in the trade room all of these times. Our weekly schedule shows when we're going to be in our trade room. It has an item field called the room opens. We were in our trade room on Monday for the market open. We made money. We had Palantir earnings Monday afternoon. Quite a few members made money on Palantir. I didn't because I made a judgment mistake. I thought it wasn't going to move, and it moved really well. We traded Caterpillar earnings Tuesday morning, and we didn't get to trade that one because their earnings were early. And that's a very important thing we'll talk about. But here's the weekly schedule. The point is, you've got to forgive yourself. If the first trade of your week is a bad trade because the market open didn't work, are you going to not trade Palantir? Which, look at the move Palantir wind up having. Now, it's a new earnings for us, so I wasn't sure it was going to move this well. But look at the move that it did have. It had a phenomenal earnings move. Now, Palantir was due out at 4:05, I believe. Yep. So right before 4:05, we would recommend you put your orders on the chart. I had done over a year's worth of research on Palantir. It didn't move the market at all, so I wasn't thinking there would be much of a move. And my error in judgment was I knew that Palantir is an important stock now because of their involvement with the government, and I know how much the market's paying attention to Palantir, and I let my research overpower my heart in a way, because the research said Palantir is not going to move, but the heart says, look at all the other evidence that it may move. And I went with the research, and it turned out it did move. A couple of members traded it anyway and had really nice profits on Palantir. Why were they able to trade it? And that's the most important thing I'm teaching here today and trying to communicate, because we teach you how to do this. We teach you how to look at events, how to find events, how to set up events using our software so that you could make $447 trading Palantir by being in the market for 10 seconds when they release their earnings. That's what we are teaching, okay? That's what we are teaching, and that's the tools that I'm going to show you how to use. So obviously, number one, we're going to teach you how to use our software. That's part of everything that we do. You're going to have the weekly schedule, so you know what events you want to look at to find trades. If we're not trading an event, you can test it on your own. If the trade is a trade room event, you know you can come in, trade it with us. We'll teach you how to do it in the trade room. So the system is the weekly market movers, the daily market movers, trade room access, and all of our software, the News Trader software. We have software called the Magnet Trade. I've done many, many webinars on all of these topics. So you're welcome. Join our YouTube channel by just go over to Google, to YouTube, type in 10-Minute Trades YouTube channel, and you'll go right to our YouTube channel. You could learn all about the Magnet Trade, all about our software. We have other earnings webinars, of course, and many of them are public. So there's a lot of information to learn for free. Our weekly schedule. This was our weekly schedule last week, which was one of the best trading weeks we ever had and our members ever had. Members made literally thousands of dollars last week. We had market opens that were working. We had the API crude oil report, Procter & Gamble earnings, Boeing's earnings. Members made really good money on United Health earnings, UPS earnings. We made money. Meta was a big trade. Microsoft were big earnings for people. Amazon and Apple were fantastic. Amazon in particular was a huge winning trade. Let me show you our Amazon trade, and then I'll show you what some of our members did. I hope, let me make sure I have our Amazon trade. Let me find it. That was last week. Amazon has been a continual steady winner for us. This was a TikTok video that I'm putting up on TikTok. Amazon, the price, I know it's a little bit hard to see, the price exploded up, and in about 4 seconds we traded $1,000 profit, $1,175 in our cash account in about 4 seconds trading Amazon earnings. That is not a rarity, having great winners on Amazon. One of our members sent us a winning screen, $2,300 on that Amazon trade last week. Excuse me. It was just an easy event to trade. We put our orders on the chart, the price exploded up, and we had a beautiful winning trade. Once again, I'm never going to make up a story that every trade is a winner, but obviously we wouldn't be here doing this if earnings season wasn't great to trade. Every quarter there are dozens of trades that we look at, dozens of companies that we look at. and at least 15 great earnings trades that we have profited in the past on, that we trade every quarter. And we look forward to this earnings season because we love these trades. They're fun, they're quick, and sometimes we get up early in the morning and take these trades, 6 in the morning East Coast time. Sometimes they're afternoon trades after the market closes, 4 p.m., 4:20 Eastern time as well. Our News Trader software is the key. It installs into NinjaTrader. It's a custom strategy. As I said before, it has multiple setups, breakouts, range trades, other setups that we teach our members. It automates your entries, your targets, and it puts your stops on the chart. It's what we call a super ATM program. It's an automated trade manager. So if you've used TradeStation, or if you've used even NinjaTrader, if you're a NinjaTrader user but you never used our software, you know that sometimes you have to learn the internal language of a platform to write a little ATM program to control your trade. You might control whether your stops are trailing. You might control where your targets are. You might control what happens to your stop after your targets get hit. That we call automated trade management, and many platforms have that built in. Well, our software is an automated trade manager. You don't have to learn the NinjaTrader automated trade management language. You can just learn our software. Learn how to put numbers into our software, because that's essentially what our software requires. Numbers to be input into fields. And it's very simple and very easy to learn how to use our software. But that's what we mean when we say it's an automated trade manager. We call our system appointment-based trading because we're making an appointment with the market at the times that we want to make the appointment. And it's a simple time-based approach. You can schedule your trades on specific days, specific times, up to a month in advance. And while all trading has risk, appointment-based trading, news trading, it's no riskier than any other form of trading. The key is have stops, have setups, have software that's keeping you as safe as possible with any trading that you do. Why do I like appointment-based trades? Because I hate being in the market. I don't want to be in the market all day. I don't want to watch the markets all day. I don't want to watch my charts all day. I want to be in the markets as little as possible. Over the years, I have found out that the less I trade, the more I make. Most trading is pretty boring. You sit around for hours and hours waiting for the good setups to come. You blink at the wrong time. You get up and leave to get a drink, use the restroom. You miss your setup. That's what we avoid trading the way that we trade. We make our appointments. We come into the trade room. We usually spend about a half hour for each event. We trade, we laugh, we have fun, we rant, and then we're done, and we come back later for another trade. You know, today, we had a very nice day trading today. Look at the schedule. This is what we did today. I knew that when I woke up this morning, we were going to trade the Bank of England official bank rate. They lowered their rate. Some of our members made, it was a small winner this morning, 100, 150 bucks. Then we traded the unemployment claim. We recommend that that's an inconsistent report. We don't recommend anybody trade with their cash account on that trade. And it was a terrible trade. Nothing worked on it. It just is an inconsistent report. I don't trade it in cash. We do have a setup that's been working occasionally on that report. Today was not its day. Then we traded the natural gas storage report. It was a very nice winner. And then we traded the 30-year bond auction. It was an awesome winner. There were not a lot of earnings this week, but we did have AMD earnings. Why don't I show you that one? Disney, we did not have a move because they were early. So that brings up something very important. In order to have a good earnings event, we need certain things from the company that is releasing their earnings. We need them to release their earnings in a reliable manner. That means, for instance, a company like Amazon. Every quarter, Amazon releases their earnings almost always at the same time. So they come out with a date of their earnings, they come out with a time, and they're very close to the time. We study Amazon's earnings every quarter, and we make sure we know when the time is that they're going to release their earnings. And it's a very serious piece of research that we do. So I just happen to have my Amazon notes in front of me. I've got 2 years of data on Amazon. And when we look at the time that they release their earnings, it's almost always right at 4:01 p.m. Eastern Time. In February, 4:01. In May of 25, it was 4:01 and 8 seconds. In October of 24, it was exactly 4:01. August, 4:01. April, don't have that one. February of 24, 4:01. How many times do you have to see the same release time to know that you can set up a trade for Amazon? So that allows us to set up a very reliable breakout trade with Amazon. And we have been making money regularly on Amazon. And as I showed you last week, members made thousands, 2,300 for Langford and Anguilla. We made $1,175 in our cash account, and we've got great trades coming up. I want to show you AMD. Now, AMD is an interesting earnings trade. So I was explaining what are some of the things we need from the company. We need the company to release their earnings in a reliable manner every quarter, or at least almost every quarter, so we can set up a trade. We also need that company earnings event to react in a way that is fairly similar each quarter, right? If it's a completely crazy different reaction every time they do their earnings, then it means we probably can't set up a trade. AMD is one of the harder ones to trade, and I'll show you what happened on AMD. We made money. I think we made about 200 bucks. AMD releases their earnings 4:15, usually about 20 seconds after 4:15. That's their history. So we have a setup, a breakout trade. We put our orders on the chart as the time gets closer and closer to 4:15. That's when we put our orders on. So a couple of seconds before 4:15, our orders are on the chart. We have a button that allows us to adjust the trade, adjust the brackets, so we don't get filled before the earnings are released. Let me show you the correct trade because I was showing you the wrong trade. 4:15, August 5th. Here was our trade. And it was difficult. It was difficult. We got a quick, long profit, and then the market actually went in the opposite direction. So here it's now 4:15. We're waiting for the earnings. We got filled long. And I was a little bit worried. I was filled long, but fortunately it hit my first target. Right there, I moved my target slightly to make sure it got hit. And then I trailed my stop to make sure I could make more than just the first target. Then the price changed direction, hit my profitable stop, so that when the trade was over, I had a couple of $100 of profit. It wound up, interestingly, the market went very negative after our trade, but it was a few minutes after our trade. But look at that negative move. We do have ways to trade. Remember, after the news, we could trade, but we had something else we were doing that day. We had an oil report we had to pay attention to. So we traded our AMD, made a couple of $100, and then we went on to something else. What causes earnings trades to work, what causes every news trade to work, is the market has a forecast, an expectation. When that expectation is met or not met or very far off, that creates moves in the markets. Those moves are what we are trying to profit on. There are three categories of those types of moves. High impact economic reports like jobs reports, GDP reports, big company earnings reports, And then, of course, market open and closes. As I said, markets open and close reports or events are also very enjoyable to trade. There's hundreds of these triggers within three categories, and we teach our members how to find those events. I've explained what actually triggers the earnings trade, and let's talk about all of the tools that we use. So one of the first tools that we use, and I'm trying to use as many free tools as possible. One of our favorite tools is earningswhispers.com, the website. So you go to earningswhispers.com, and when you log in, you get a site that looks like this, and it's free. Across the top, you get the greatest hits. These are the big earnings trades that they think are the big earnings trades that are coming up in the market. We don't agree with them on all of those because all of their greatest hits are not necessarily great trades to take. They're not necessarily great events. We have to dig a little deeper to figure out which one of these events are going to be worthwhile to trade. We do know, just looking at this quick list, Cisco is a nice one, Broadcom is a nice one, NVIDIA is an awesome one. We've had $1,000 profits on NVIDIA. Our members have made $1,700 in profit trading NVIDIA. This is one of our member screenshot. This is not my screenshot. It's not a simulated screenshot. It's a real member $1,700 profit. NVIDIA is coming up. NVIDIA is a great one to trade. Here's another member screenshot, $980. One of our members, former member now, traded NVIDIA for $980 in profits in his prop account. You know, people come and go in the trading business. It's the nature of it. Broadcom, I showed you that Broadcom's coming up over $1,000 in a Broadcom profit. $1,000. Broadcom has been a great earnings report to trade. So how do we find these trades? We need free tools, preferably as many free tools as possible, and then as many reasonably priced tools to add to our free tools. So earningswhispers.com, go to the calendar, click the day you want to trade. Today is Thursday, and they have this little control panel. Up top it says before the market open, and then when you click the control panel, it says after the market closes, because those are the common times that most earnings, probably 95%, are released. So those are the times of day we are looking for companies to trade. Today, after the market closes, obviously it's Thursday, right? You've got a whole bunch of companies, but there aren't any on here that we have so far found to be a great opportunity for the way that we trade. Doesn't mean there might not be a few that we've missed. We're always looking for new ones. We're always trying to find them. But right now, we did not have a setup for today. One of the things we're looking for from a company, and we can find out this information just by clicking the name of the company in this Earnings Whispers report here. If I click Trade Desk, which happens to have earnings today, it shows me the price of the stock. It shows me the time they released their previous earnings, and it shows me the time they were releasing their current earnings, and it shows me a chart of previous earnings releases. It's very, very helpful data. Very important. When we look at the previous release time, I notice something immediately that tells me this is probably not a company we're going to try to trade. There's actually two things that tell me. Number one, the time that it releases is right at the close. It's almost impossible to trade earnings exactly at 4 p.m. You just have too much going on besides earnings. You've got the market close moves. You've got possible data not being able to fill you, freezing of orders at that time of day because the markets are so thick. It's a very risky time to trade. Much better off waiting for a 4:05 earnings trade. But even more important, when we look at the previous time that Trade Desk released their earnings, which is something that Earnings Whisper shows us, it was at 401. It wasn't even on time. That's a huge heads up that maybe Trade Desk doesn't release their earnings on time. We're also looking for revenue, not in the millions. We want companies preferably with revenue in the billions. And then the other tool that you want to use to help you find earnings companies, you can look at what we call the heat map, right? There's something called a heat map. For instance, you look at a company, GoDaddy. They released their earnings today. So, you've heard of GoDaddy. You click the information about the stock. It's an expensive stock, $200. It's got revenue, 1 billion. We prefer better. And it's releasing at 405. It might be a stock that we take a look at, although I really don't think in the scheme of things that a company that makes a lot of their money, selling ISP locations, internet names, it's just not going to move the market all that much. That's the reality. GoDaddy is not really going to move the market, in my opinion. The only way you're going to know is watch the market at that time of day, see if it moves the market. You want to check and figure out, is it a NASDAQ stock? Is it a Dow stock? One of the ways you can do that, you could look at the heat map. What do I mean by a heat map? Let me show you. If we Google heat map for the Dow, okay, it'll show you a Dow Jones 30 heat map. Many stocks that are listed on the heat map are probably going to be good stocks to try and find an earnings setup. And it's true. Nvidia is there, Microsoft is there, Apple's there, Home Depot's there, McDonald's, Goldman Sachs, Disney, almost all the stocks we trade. So you want to look at the heat maps for the Dow, for the NQ, for the NASDAQ, right? That's going to help you figure out what stocks you want to spend your time on. The heavily weighted stocks, they're going to be on the heat map. You're not going to find GoDaddy on there because they're not heavily weighted anywhere. They're just not that important. And it's not that they're a bad company. It's just they're not that important. They're not going to move the market. And there's hints and ways to tell which companies are going to give you the best shot. There's also, you could use Free Trading View. It's a great tool. Free Trading View, when you look to the stock charts that they show you for free, when you click the symbol, and let's say, for instance, I want to look at Boeing. So I type in BA, which is the symbol for Boeing, and it's an NYSE stock. Okay, that's Boeing's, probably going to be Boeing's heaviest weighting. It will be on the NYSE. For most NYSE stocks, we have learned that we can trade the YM, and the YM is our favorite setup. If it would have said NASDAQ, which TradingView does do, if you look at Amazon, for instance, or Meta, it's going to show you that it's a NASDAQ stock, and it's going to show you right before you get there and right before you click on it to show the chart, NASDAQ. So there are many free tools that help us to find the best ways to trade. So we have earningswhispers.com, TradingView free. We also, of course, use calendars. We use Thinkorswim as well to look at stock movement while we're trading earnings. And it is important to understand also that TradingView lets you look at the stock price while the earnings are going on. So we can keep our orders on the chart. We could have our trading charts plus Free TradingView. And then we know how the stock is reacting to the earnings while we're trading the earnings. And that's important because what if we see that the stock explodes to the upside and that futures explode to the upside? We're filled long. We haven't hit all our targets. And then there's big news that pushes the stock the opposite way. We might want to exit the trade with our profit rather than wait for a negative reversal that takes away our profit because we didn't grab our targets. So you can use these free tools to help you to make trading decisions while the trade is going on. It's great and very important to know what these free tools are. So TradingView, earningswhispers.com, another favorite tool that we use. Not free, but very reasonable, very important to my way of thinking. It's a program or a calendar, Financial Juice Pro. Let me show you Financial Juice Pro, what it looks like when we are in the software. It's a calendar we use all day long, and the reason we use it is because they have some great features, and one of the great features they have is a scrolling news feed, okay, that you can configure with macros, indexes, forex, equities, crypto, commodities. You set it up the way you like. They have a calendar on the left that's excellent. The biggest thing that I love that they have is a Squawk Box. They have a free calendar, but their free calendar has a slight delay in the news. That's not acceptable if you're trading the way that we trade. You cannot live with any delays. We want everything exact as it's being released, okay? They have a Squawk Box. Their Squawk Box is very reasonably priced, and what the Squawk Box does is while we're trading, we hear news in our headset. So they might be covering Boeing's earnings, and they will be speaking exactly what those earnings are as we're trading or waiting to trade. Maybe we won't take a trade because we're hearing that the earnings are mixed. And mixed earnings don't work as well as earnings that are bursting in one direction or the other. So again, tools that you use help you to win. And then we also use Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim, if you notice, when you watch a lot of our trade videos, all right, when I show you our trade videos, you're going to see, and let me show you, I will show you, how about an Apple trade? Okay, here's an Apple trade, a live video, one of our Apple trades. What we do in the trade room when we're waiting for the earnings to come out, I have or our company has an account with Thinkorswim. It's now owned by Charles Schwab. Thinkorswim for $50. You can open a Thinkorswim account. What do you get for that account? You get live data, futures, options, stocks. All you have to do is keep $50 in your trading account. You don't have to trade if you don't want to. You can put more money in, obviously, and trade. But what you get is pre-market price action, post-market price action, and one of my favorite features of Thinkorswim, they have a great news feed that's part of their stock chart, so that if you have it on Apple while you're trading Apple's earnings, it shows you the earnings are out, they just came out, here's what the earnings are. The key for us is we want to see exactly when those earnings come out so that we know we're not waiting for an earnings report that we're uncertain if it's come out. Maybe there hasn't been an explosion in the price of the future we're trading. Maybe we haven't gotten filled even though the earnings are out. But maybe we want to wait and get filled because the earnings are good. Everything they say is good. The EPS is good. The future guidance is good. Usually on a company like Apple, Amazon, Meta, that will make the price move. We want to know as many things as possible while we're trading so that we can take advantage of these trades. Look at this Meta trade that we took. Members took. This was a Meta trade, a recent Meta trade. Our member had a $670 profit before the Meta trade. When the Meta trade was over, and right now he's in the trade, the trade's over, $1,400, $800 profit on that Meta trade. When he was done with two earnings that day, and I believe it was Microsoft and Meta, he had a $1,435 profit. Trading earnings the way that we teach it. Well, let me show you one more great earnings trade because, like I said, I'm excited. NVIDIA is coming. Here's another NVIDIA trade. We had one NVIDIA trade where, no joke, we had a $2,000 profit in cash. Once again, just to go over the tools that we use, we're looking at NVIDIA charts with our Thinkorswim account. We're trading futures in the NinjaTrader platform. In our cash account, NVIDIA is one of our favorites. Waiting for the earnings. We study NVIDIA to make sure we know when their earnings come out. Look at how the stock proved our direction was correct to the short side. That was over $1,000 profit NVIDIA earnings. We were in the market for less than 7 seconds. Almost every single person that was in our trade room for that trade made money. Now, you can trade in a prop account. You just want to make sure the rules of every prop account are different. Make sure that the prop account you're using allows this type of trading. So here's the deal, everyone. Like I said, we've got Broadcom coming up. We've got, let me show you again, just to remind you, I'm not making this stuff up. $1,100 profit by a member trading Broadcom, which, by the way, does not use BRCM as its symbol. It's AVGO. That's Broadcom. It's been a very nice winner. Here is the deal. I want you to join me for all of our trade rooms, earnings trades, news trades, market open trades. Come and join us, magnet trades, all on a schedule. Use and learn about our NewsTrader software, JOBB version 11. Receive the Daily Market Mover trade action reports. Whenever there's an event that we have a Daily Market Mover for, we will email it to you, and we'll also show you how you can download it from our website. We want you to be a subscriber to our Pro Trade Room. You can come in anytime you want, any trade that we have. It's full membership. Get our Trap Trade software also, and our Magnet Trade software. All of our strategies, everything is included. All of our family money trades, the events that we feel are the best of the best, we call them family money trades. Earnings trades, breakout trades, magnet trades, range trades, oil reports, jobs reports. I guide all of you step by step in each of these trade rooms. Everything included, the NewsTrader software, the magnet strategy, trap trade strategy, daily market movers, trade room access, earnings trade rooms. We have a 30-day trial. It expires tomorrow night, $20.25 to take the trial. You're going to learn so much more than what I've shown here today for $20.25. It is ridiculous that we're still running this trial. After 30 days, it turns into a full pro membership for $97 a month, which itself is too inexpensive. And if you don't want to stay, just send us an email before the billing period's over, and we'll cancel your trial. No questions asked, no hard feelings. We love our members. So go to www.gopro25.com. It'll take you to this easy-to-navigate website. 30-day trial for $20.25. You get a 10-minute quick start video. All of these things are included, but it's a full pro membership where everything that we offer our pro members is included. $20.25. You just fill out that simple order form and you'll be set up before tomorrow. You'll be able to join us in the trade room tomorrow if you sign up today. This offer is going to expire tomorrow night at midnight. $20.25. So make sure you make your way over to www.gopro25.com. Our members love us. Why? They're constantly sending us their winning earnings screens. Member profits, $530, $1,700 on the left side. We're not making this up. Members are being taught how to do this. Here was a very nice note that one of our current members, who's in Holland, sent us this note. I was having a very bad day. couple of bad trades in a row, and then because he kept going, didn't give up, he made $644 in cash, 212 bucks scalping the mini DAX, 150 bucks on the reverse continuation strategy, money on the retail trade. It meant that I was done for the day and will only watch and sim, and it was a very nice thank you note for him thanking me for helping him learn how to take these trades, to learn not to give up just because you had a couple of bad trades in the trade room. You got to just pick yourself up and keep trading. You need the Magnet Trade, the live trading room, the News Traders software, and most importantly, a teacher that cares that you learn how to do this and cares how you continue to do day after day after day. $20.25, everyone. You're going to learn so much more than what I've shown you in this webinar. www.gopro25.com. And one more time, everything you get, everything we offer our pro members. JOBB version 11 News Trader software, the Magnet Trade software. We will teach you how to do the appointment-based trading method. Choose the events you want to trade. If you're working a full-time job, choose 3 or 4 of the best events that week and just trade those events. This can be a side part-time job for you. How to trade selected stock earnings with futures, www.gopro25.com. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining this webinar. I hope you learned a lot. I'll see you soon in the trade room. And I'm Lee Goldstein, the trading director at 10 Minute Trades. And I really care how well you do, and I will teach you how to do this. I'll see you soon in the trade room. Thanks for watching.